Hi, I'm Tony DuShane, and welcome to the novel approach. This week, we're going to dive into The Stronghold by Dino Buzzati. Uh, dive into it even more. And let's talk about it. The Stronghold is a look at life and death. What are we really? The minute we're born, we're all getting closer to death. Death is coming. When we're of age to truly live out in our teens and 20s, we dive into the dreams of our souls. We feel like we have time to explore, to wait for the right moment to really explore our dreams. Buzzati dives into this theme through his hero, Giovanni Drogo, and it's set before the start of World War II in the book The Stronghold. Giovanni's entire life is in front of him. He joins the military and is assigned to a remote fortress in the far north of Italy, where no action can even happen. It's a forgotten fortress filled with soldiers forgotten. Giovanni doesn't want to accept the assignment, but he's lured into it because his commanding officer dangles the carrot that if he serves the 2 years there will count as 4 years for his military career and give him an easy promotion. Days and nights are rituals of guarding the fortress, becoming fascinated that they're in the middle of nowhere. It's not the butt end of a sad joke where soldiers are stationed. As far as the reputation of the fort is concerned, it's dead weight, but the men carry on as if the enemy will approach at any second, though they can see for miles and miles, and the landscape is a whole lot of nothingness. The men hope there will be an enemy. They keep their eyes out for any inconsistency on the horizon. They can't wait to go to war and be war heroes, to put a stamp on their lives and give themselves meaning. The meaning to them is war. Giovanni adapts to the routine. The place becomes sort of a home for him. It's crazy how we can easily adapt to absurd life conditions as humans. It could be growing up in a cult, and that would be the norm of our life. It could be being a young star, an actor turning into a celebrity, and that's normal life. And speaking of, I can't wait to see the new Charlie Sheen documentary. And it could be a political affiliation that anyone could get easily lulled into appeasing their tribe. Buzzati doesn't bang on the topic as much as I am right now. He's a poetic, mean machine as a novelist. Page 62. Almost 2 years later, Giovanni Drogo was sleeping one night in his room at the Fortezza. 22 months had passed without bringing anything new, but he remained steadfastly waiting, as if life was bound to show him some special leniency. 22 months is a long time, however, and many things can happen. New families can be initiated, children born, and they might even be able to might even begin to speak. A great house might spring up where the previous only a meadow stood. A beautiful woman might age and no one desire her any longer. A disease might erupt, particularly a disease that takes a drawn-out course, where men continue to live unconcerned. It might slowly waste away the body, subside momentarily when health seems in reach, but then resume more intensely, engulfing every last hope. 22 months is time enough for a dead man to be buried and forgotten, and for his son to regain the ability to laugh in the evenings, leading girls down avenues past the cemetery gates without a second thought. But Drogo's existence had come to a standstill. The same day he had repeated hundreds of times, identically, although without advancing a single step. The river of time passed over the Fortanza, cracking walls, dragging down dust and fragments of stone, eroding stairs and chains. But over Drogo it passed in vain. It hadn't managed to snatch him in its flight. Whew, he gets me. The book is all about time passing with a hope for meaning, but no meaning ever comes. The book is about the aspirations of youth, how life is ahead of you. But for most people, they never achieve their dreams. They get stuck in a rut, whether a good job or a mediocre job that pays well, and the years wear on. And he still has hope for his future, hope that an enemy will approach, hope that he can go home and fulfill all of his dreams. And then hope turns to aging, aging turns into whatever he could have been back to normal life. How could he live without the bugle horn in certain times? How could he not see the sun hit his room in a certain hour in the day of on the certain day of a certain season. After 4 years, he finally goes home to visit his mom and his lover who's waiting for him. Being in the city assaults his senses, though. He's excited to see his waiting girlfriend, to start a life with her instead of indulging in meaningless sex that he's had with women in a village that the soldiers trudge out to when they have time off to drink and blow their loads. From page 123. A stranger, he wandered the city in search of old friends. He learned they were deeply engaged in business deals, major initiatives, political careers. They spoke of him serious, important things: factories, railroads, hospitals. Someone invited him to dinner. Someone else had gotten married. They'd all gone their separate ways, and in 4 years they had grown distant. No matter how hard he tried, perhaps he himself was no longer capable. He couldn't revive conversations from the past, the jokes, the turns of phrase. He wandered the city in search of old friends, and there were many, but in the end he found himself alone on the sidewalk with so many vacant hours before nightfall. After that, he visits Maria, his love interest, and he's lost the playfulness that he had when they used to be together. He doesn't even know how to joke with her. They're both looking for signs to reignite their courtship, start a new life together, but the signals are completely crossed. She tells him she's traveling to Amsterdam the next day. He should come. It was a half-hearted ask, and he can't even fathom venturing with her on a lovely vacation. He chooses to go back to the Vortenza early, back to the barren land where there's no enemy in sight, yet the soldiers perform their guard duties meticulously. Reading this book reminds me of the Anne Lamott quote, which I'll quote for you right now. What if you wake up someday and you're 65 or 75 and you've never got your memoir or novel written, or you didn't go swimming in warm pools and oceans all those years because your thighs were jiggly and you had a nice, big, comfortable tummy, or you were just so strung out on perfection and people pleasing that you forgot to have a big, juicy, creative life of imagination, of radical silliness, and staring off into space like when you were a kid? It's going to break your heart. Don't let this happen. That quote sustains me. I often feel like I don't belong. It's so often that I feel that way, that it's like a buzzing hum in my brain while I still do things that make me feel comfortable, like doing more YouTube stuff, like writing a book review. What is our story, our life story to this moment in time? What's the next plot twist, the next act break? We're all stories of our time. Reading novels reminds us that stories are everything. The stories we tell ourselves, how we navigate life. The Stronghold is a reminder to stop putting off our dreams, to serve our story. I have a Serve the Story lecture for my novel and screenwriting students. You serve the story, and I, as your instructor, I'm here to serve you so you can serve the story. The story is the boss. If the story is the boss, then I need to do what I can to make the boss happy. If the story is the boss, then when I give notes to my students that may seem harsh, might hurt their egos, they know that they're serving their boss, and I want their boss to be the best, in the best position possible to get published, to get produced, to show the world. If the story is the boss, then we must serve our boss by giving ourselves the bodies and spirits that we've been given to serve the story to the best of our possibilities. The Stronghold is a must-read for any writer. There are so many books out there that tell us how to write, actually way too many. Buy one or two. Here are my suggestions. On Writing by Stephen King, Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. This year you write your novel by Walter Mosley. Then don't buy another how-to book. Join a writing group, join a workshop, read novels, read screenplays. If we're not constantly consuming the medium we're writing in, then we're doing a disservice to our writing as writers. The Stronghold, it's beautiful, poetic, and tragic all at once. The translation by Lawrence Venuti is the one to read. The book was first published in 1940 as El Deserto de Tartari. In the afterword to the book, Buzzati describes the main theme of his novel as hope and life that passes fruitlessly. That could be where the beauty of it all is. We're a witness to Giovanni's desire for a goal that's never achieved. Giovanni finds comfort in what he despised when he first was assigned to the Fortezza. Even when his friend sees a small dot many miles away, they look through their telescope in anticipation, like explorers seeing the possibility to take up arms to guard their sacred temple.